Hello everyone, this is James Song here. Welcome back to my video. I hope you are all very well. I am doing really well. As you can see on the screen, we have the speaking section ready for you today. So as always, first thing first, we start with question 1 of the speaking section, which is independent task, meaning you are expressing your own opinion. You create your own contents, okay? So there is no such thing as a right or wrong answer just by choosing your opinion because you are entitled to your own opinion. The focus is whether you can back it up by logical reasons, coherent, connecting reasons, and able to develop it into detailed explanation or example to get the full score. So we got agree or disagree question here. So answer is yes or no. We just need to decide. Artists and musicians are important to society. Use details and examples to explain your answer. You could say no. You could say no if you feel so strongly about it. So when you get agree or disagree logically, if you feel really strong urge to disagree, you're thinking very sharp, you're thinking very critical, and you feel very strongly against about this statement, then disagree by all means. But even if you don't strongly agree, because we only have 15 seconds, if you feel kind of like, yeah, this is kind of making sense. Like I don't really strongly disagree with this. I don't strongly agree, but yeah, maybe, then agree with it. It's a lot easier and quicker way to create reasons to back up your position. Okay. I mean, it's an obvious question, right? I mean, disagree is not wrong, but I'm not even going to bother today because like in some way, shape or form, do artists and musicians play important role to a society? Like today, kind of positively benefit our society, even a little bit? Of course they do. Okay, so probably first time ever, I'm not going to even briefly brainstorm the opposite side, not because the answer is wrong, it's just I feel very unnecessary to disagree with the following statement and trying to make the logic that backs up artists and musicians are not important to our society. That sounds ridiculous, right? Okay, so there's many ways you could do this, I guess. You could kind of conceptualize. So we're gonna agree today. And artist and musician as like a one thing, right? And kind of think of two reasons how they benefit our life or society as a whole, or some positive effects they have on ourselves or individuals or society, because society is made up of individuals, right? Or if you're really clever, I just tackled each keyword for my reason. So I decided to create some reason for artists as like my one reason specifically. So artists do this, so they benefit, right? And use musician as like a second separate thing in my answer to come up with second reason. Okay? Break it down, right? Analyze the question, take out the keyword, get into the keyword, and think of just one reason each. Okay? So, I just thought really basic reason, people can enjoy, have a good time. So I need some other reason for music. Like music is same, but I'm not going to say, they can enjoy and have a good time. It's still a test. And also I realize my reason is maybe very general or too general in this case. So I'll work really hard to really provide detailed explanation or really like a specifically detailed example. So I will realize that and, you know, focus on that to make sure my answer is not all fluffy and general and meaningless. You know, I don't want that kind of answer. But because I had like two concepts that is so easy, there's so many reasons I can create. So I decided to stay general because I need to think quickly, and people can appreciate the art, work, artist. You know, it can inspire people. They can broaden their perspective. You know, it can help them inspire to create new ideas, all that good kind of things, right? And I may stop here and try to explain or exemplify instantaneously because I have to. Or if we do go, yeah, don't get used to this, but I am giving you two versions today as well. So don't complain when I start giving you just one model answer, okay? You know, I decided to be nice today and give you two different versions for you to study, you know, in various ways to help you more. So if I explain, again, just like I took the keyword from the question and come up with the reason, I took the keyword in my reason and then break it into more detail. So what do I mean by appreciate? You know, what do I mean by appreciate? You know, so these things, you know, they can, you know, think in different perspective, or it inspire them to come up with new ideas. So that's like appreciate what I mean, broken down into more detail. And enjoy, you know, it's a great for family to like visit galleries and, you know, just look around the artworks, whether they understand or not. Good way to relax, you know, just have a good time with the family, and, you know, they go home and even have a discussion about the artwork they observed, you know, they felt it was good or bad, or, you know, what kind of inspiration they've got. You know, it's very enjoyable, right? So that's my logic to explain it this way, okay? All right, so I broke down the words into more detail to think of my reason. And I broke down my keywords in my reason to come up with more detailed explanation. This is what you should do, okay? So like almost break the word artist and crack it into more detail to think of enjoy and appreciate artist artwork, and crack enjoy and appreciate in, you know, crack these words almost like if they were rocks, crack it in and create the small pieces within this keyword to, you know, think about, what do I mean by enjoy in more detail? What do I mean by appreciate? Okay, so that's what I've done. So my first paragraph would be, yes, I think artists and musicians play very important roles to society. First reason is that people can enjoy and appreciate the artist's work. You know, to explain further, when we watch art, we could be pushed to think in different perspective and give us some inspiration to think of new ideas. And it's always fun for the whole family or friends to go to the galleries and enjoy art and talk about them. Something like that, right? Not word for word in my model essay, because also when I do model essay, I don't write them, you know, I stay genuine and kind of provide answer instantaneously of my own, and then I do a dictation later. So, you know, it might not be word for word, okay? But you'll see, okay? It's very close to it. And if I exemplify, as I always say, just create a situation, right? You know, my father, me, my mother, my girlfriend, my boyfriend, whatever, right? Okay, so I thought it was too much in example. So I kind of put enjoy and appreciate as a one thing. And I just stick to my family, going to a gallery, but more specific detail, you know, looking at the art on the weekend, enjoy it, have a good time, come home and discuss it, you know, over dinner. It's such an enjoyable experience for our family to go to the gallery. Okay, something like that, right? And my second reason, what I thought of was, what did I think of? Yeah, music. Okay, I mean, there's so many things you can say music, right? You can be really detailed. Music help many people to get motivated, or you know, musicians create music that people you know, people use every day of their life. Or you know, musicians create music that heals people, really help people to overcome difficulties, whatever can be the reason. There are millions of reasons we can think of. So you know, I was confident, so I stay general, you know, which I don't usually do. I quickly thought of, like, it's one of the greatest entertainment of mankind. You know, bit fancy, right? Okay, right. And then I cracked this word into more detail to come up with explanation, right? What do I mean by greatest entertainment? Okay, so from third person's perspective, you know, you could say, you know, usually, you know, many people listen to music in all situations, whether they're in the party, they want to you know, overcome their sadness, when they're really happy, when they need to calm down, when they're having a meal. You know, music can play a role in all situations, in all different moods, and it all works. You know, classical music, hip hop music. You know, just don't say everything, but you know, stay focused and kind of you know, finish your answer. You know, like really important part of many people's lives, because you know, they listen to it in all situations and it all works usually. You know, plays really positive part when you know, all situation, meaning be detailed. You know, when you're happy, when you're sad, you know, when you want some help, when you need some motivation, when you're really depressed, you know, we listen to music. So it's a really important part of our lives, you know. Okay, so example, just put in a situation. Maybe you know, I'll say something like, you know, I listen to music at least, you know, 4 to 5 hours every day. I mean, I start listening to music when I wake up. I need to get into a positive mood. I listen to some positive, upbeat mood to motivate myself to start my day. And when I'm commuting, I listen to, you know, some of my favorite music in the bus or subway, on my way to work, on my school, to motivate myself to have a great day. And I get into such a good mood. I have a good day. Or, you know, something like that, something specific, but just exemplify music is integral part of my life. But when you explain it, you could say like an integral part of your life. Example, you can say it too, but you know, give some situations. So what do you mean by integral part of your life? You know, like when do you listen to it? Exactly, you know, give 1 or 2 situations max, then you have a real good example. Okay, and let's find out how I did it in my answer. Okay, so yeah, let me do some demo. Okay, yeah, artists, musicians, definitely. Because artists, we can enjoy and appreciate. Music, it's like really fun. It applies all parts of my life. So that would be just coming up with 2 reasons, okay, which is good enough. Brainstorming till the explanation, hopefully, will be something like, yep, definitely. Artist, it helps us, explanation. It inspires us to think of some new idea. Music, it helps us become positive, change our mood. Okay, something like that. Okay, to think of explanation. Think of example. Yep, we can appreciate. For example, like I saw this creative work and thought of something new. What was the second one? I got a brain freeze. Second, yeah, greatest entertainment. I always listen to music because it makes me happy, fun, and energized. Yeah. Or even you could like jump into example like my favorite band is BTS. Yeah. And when I listen to that music from BTS, it just makes me happy. You know, love BTS. Something like that. Okay, just create example. Keep practicing 15 seconds. Sounds funny and fake, but you have to practice the preparation time. Like you have to do these practice as I do. You cannot just not practice these 15 seconds. You know, you have to practice the preparation time to become better at preparing. Okay, so speak it out or write it down for question 1. Unlike other questions you really need to speak it out, but question 1 you only have 15 seconds to think of 2 reasons. So you know, you may want to just write down 2 reasons rather than trying to speak, which is fine, but you must practice intentionally and specifically how to do preparation time to improve your preparation. Okay, so you must do it. Don't just understand when I do it. Okay, you have to practice them yourself. All right, so I'm blabbing on again. So I think we can look at the final answer and understand, and you can start practicing. Let's go. Yeah, I decided to be nice. I'm bragging. No, because I just don't want you to be disappointed when I just give you like one version. You know, maybe next video. But I do have 2 versions ready for you, but it's not going to happen every time. Let me warn you. I'm preempting complaint prior to its happening. Okay, let's go. I agree with the following statement that artists and musicians are important to society. First, artists create work that people can enjoy and appreciate. Many people can watch the artist's work to appreciate different perspectives or help people think about some creative ideas. Also, the art gallery is a great place for the whole family and friends to enjoy the artwork and relax. Second, musicians create music that may be one of the greatest entertainment for humanity. Music is an integral part of many people's life. Musicians create music that people listen to when they are happy, sad, studying, or relaxing in all situations. Yeah, okay. So let's see example version. What I prefer you would do is don't give 2 examples in one answer. Like first paragraph, example, second paragraph, explanation. Or first paragraph, body paragraph, explain, then second body paragraph, example. That's more ideal, what I want you to do, and more realistic. Okay, all right? And you have to do it intentionally. Like if you just do it as it naturally comes out, you probably never exemplify. Like you have to force yourself to say, first reason is da 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 da, and even before thinking of example, for example, and you have to like force yourself to create examples. Only then you get used to it. You build the ability to be able to say example, unless it's not going to come to you naturally. Nothing does. Okay. All right, here we go. I agree with the following statement that artists and musicians are important to society. First, artists create work that people can enjoy and appreciate. My family often goes to the art gallery on the weekend to have fun and relax while looking at various creative artworks. We even talk about the arts when we get home, which is really fun. Second, musicians create music that may be one of the greatest entertainment for humanity. For example, I personally listen to music as soon as I wake up. I listen to music when I work out or want to have some fun, or even when I'm depressed. Listening to music is most integral part of my life. Okay, something like this, guys. And obviously you can say the connector here. You're not going to get a deduction, but it's safe to say like, for example, for instance, here, okay, because it's a language test. Sorry, I didn't type that in, but you know, please do say, yeah, you have to say it, okay? Do say like, for example, for instance, to exemplify, okay? And then say this. Sorry, I didn't write that in, okay? All right, that's it. Another one done and dusted. I hope you find it really helpful and you thought it was worth your time and it helped you. That's what I'm here for. That's purpose of my existence in this manner with you, the relationship we have. So I promise you I'll do best I can. And I hope you really practice multiple times to improve your speaking. Same question, multiple times, okay? And you can apply to newer questions. You'll see, right? So thank you very much once again. I appreciate you watching the video till the end and working hard with me. So I'll come back with another great video and let's go at it again. Have a great day. Bye, guys. Hello, everyone. This is James Song here. Welcome back to my video. Good to see you. Yeah, I can see through the internet. I hope you're really well, energetic, ready to rock and roll. I am too. Thank you for asking. Let's get started. As you can see on the screen, we're doing question 2 of the speaking section of the TOEFL test. So this is integrated task. And question 2 means we'll be given a reading passage to summarize in 45 seconds. And then listen to the listening passage only once and write notes and give summarization answer in speaking by answering the question. So what is the question? Question is, the woman disagrees with the student's proposal for the coffee house. Wow, this is new. They actually give you the answer. Wow, this is rare. It would be like less than 10%, if not less than 5. Okay, so usually woman expresses her opinion about the student's proposal for the coffee house. That's like 95%. Okay, because they want you to figure out whether the woman agrees or disagrees because it's a language test. Wow, I'm pleasantly surprised. I haven't seen this for a while. Probably like less than 5%. Okay, usually you have to work out whether the woman disagrees or agrees as well. Okay, but anyway, good. One less things to do. So this is reading. Okay. And explain the proposal. So state the main idea of the reading passage briefly. And the reasons she gives for disagreeing it. So provide usually 2 reasons, as you know. right? And then provide the support to make into full paragraph. So that's the question we need to answer. First thing first, reading in 45 seconds. Let me give you a demo. Let's go. Start reading now. Beep. Okay, close the coffee house. Why? Like many people, I was happy with, open the coffee house. It's a perfect place to meet people. Unfortunately, why close? Usually empty, so not a good place to meet. And the lighting is poor. Not a good place to study. Coffee house seemed like a great idea, but it just hasn't worked out. So, close it. Okay. All right, I have time to spare. So this passage is gone. It will disappear. We cannot see it. Okay. So to earn mark in speaking, we must say the man in the reading passage, or a man has written a letter, whatever. Okay, in the reading or in the reading passage, if you want to do it in a simpler way. In the reading passage, a man proposed or proposes. Present tense is fine. Past tense is fine too. Okay. Or suggests or suggested. Okay. To close or close down the university's coffee house because it hasn't been worked out. Okay, so that should be the full mark. Like here, reasons are so short. Like I don't usually say the reasons and try to make the reading summary longer. I don't. That's not the strategy I like to use, but I might make an exception here. I might just go, in the reading, a man suggests universities to close down its coffee house due to the fact that it's always empty and has very poor lighting. Yeah, you can do that too, but you don't have to. Okay, like the minimum you have to say to get the full mark in reading is a man in the reading suggests university to close down the university's coffee house. That's fine. Okay. All right. Yeah. Or because it has not worked out well. Yeah. Okay, cool. Perfect. Full mark. So more important part left, obviously. Listening part. So let's do a good job on this. Let's go. Here comes the listening passage. Let's make notes.
Now listen to two students discussing the letter.
I disagree with his idea.
Why? It doesn't sound like it's doing very much business.
That's probably because he goes during the day, but in the evening...
Oh, people go.
A lot of people. Students are really busy during the day with classes, jobs, and studying. But at night the place is often pretty full. Students get together there all the time.
Really?
Yeah, it's not until nighttime that students actually have the time to sit down and relax. Enjoy a hot drink and something to eat while hanging out or reading for class.
So you can read in there?
Yeah, I mean, he's right. That used to be a problem, but recently they did some renovations, and now I think the lighting's as good as it is in the library.
Really?
Yeah, and not just at a few tables. Just about every table's got good lighting now.
Sounds like this guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
Definitely not.
Okay, so pretty condensed, pretty simple. I think level of difficulty, maybe medium or easy. It's certainly not the hard question. Okay, so let me go through the listening for you. So woman strongly disagrees with the reading passage or man's suggestions, man's proposal, because in the evening, the coffee house has a lot of people. It's just during the day that the coffee house is empty. So like he's wrong, according to the woman. If you decide to trust the woman, man is just in the reading is inaccurate, right? Yeah. And then support, right? Why are there are not many people during the day, and why there are many people actually during the evening. She didn't say like there are some people. She said there are a lot of people in the evening, right? So it's like totally opposite of what the man claims, right? So you need to say something like, during the day, there are not many people in the coffee house because students are busy studying and going to their jobs. But in the evening, they have some time to relax, hang out, or even do some reading. So there are a lot of people in the coffee house in the evening. And the second reason is even simpler and more ridiculous, right? Okay. Lighting is fixed now. Like lighting conditions is really good. In fact, the coffee house has a very good lighting right now. So that would be a topic sentence. And yeah, it used to be a problem. Lighting was poor, but they've gone through the renovation and fixed it. Almost every table has a good lighting now, so there'll be a full mark. Or if you want to say it like as a group, like within one flow, because the listening passage said it, and it's natural to kind of say one extra sentence, say one more extra sentence. So she feels that the man in the reading doesn't know what he's talking about. Right? Yeah. So let me put it all up. In the reading, the man proposes the university to close down its coffee house due to the fact that it hasn't worked out. In the listening, the woman in the conversation strongly disagrees with the reading's proposal. First, they get a lot of people during the evening. People are very busy studying or at work during the day, so there are not many people in the coffee house during the day, but in the evening, there are a lot of people since students have time to relax and hang out in the evening. Second reason is that lighting is fine at the coffee house at the moment. Lighting is in good condition. In the past, lighting was poor, but they did some renovation recently and they have a good lighting in almost every table. Right? Yeah. So 30 seconds demo. University should close down. The coffee house hasn't worked out. No one goes there. Bad lighting. No. Many people in the evening. They're busy during the day studying work, but evening they have time to hang out at the coffee house. Second, light. What are you talking about? It works perfectly now. Like in the past, but after renovation, every table lighting is fine. Yeah, I'm ready. And then the real time. By looking at the notes and calm yourself down and making the full sentence after full sentence, just step by step. Okay? And then you get the full score. Okay? All right. 1 minute, the real answer. Beep. According to the reading, a student suggests the universities to close down its coffee house as it hasn't worked out due to not many people being there and poor lighting. The woman in the listening strongly disagrees with the man who wrote the letter in the reading. First, Although the coffee house is empty during the day, the place is packed with many people during the evening. Students are busy with their schoolwork and job during the day, so there aren't many people at the coffee house, but place is full in the evening since students have time to relax, hang out, or even do some reading. Second, the lighting is actually in very good condition now at the coffee house. Lighting used to be poor in the past before they did some renovation. Right now, almost every table has very good lighting, so the man doesn't know what he's talking about. Yeah, I mean, and I know we provided the perfect answer. Maybe we're too good, or question 2 is a little bit easier. I don't know, but we provided perfect answers. So don't get nervous if you get 5 seconds left after giving the perfect answer. Maybe you're too good, or question is very easy. Okay, don't like don't. Of course you wouldn't, you don't, but I'm just exaggerating. But my point is, don't get nervous if you get like 4 or 5 seconds left maximum. Just don't say anything. Don't muck your perfect answer up. I mean, of course, you could say something like, these are 2 reasons why the woman strongly disagrees with the reading passage. Like a machine, like automatic. Don't stretch out too much. Don't try to say with a new terminology so you may trip over. Just try to use a lot of pronouns and just a simple simple sentence. If you have 5 seconds left and if you feel really uncomfortable, you want to say a little bit more, then provide it very systematic conclusion. These are 2 reasons why the woman strongly disagrees with the proposal in the reading. Something like that. Okay. All right. Yeah. So another question done and dusted. I hope you were satisfied with today's class. Yeah, I think we did a good job. Okay. So there you have it. Please practice multiple times. Memorize some answers in full if you need to. Do whatever you need to do to improve by reviewing it, trying it multiple times, or even memorizing one question. Okay, right? Don't try to do many questions if you are not up to a good level yet. Okay, practice same question multiple times and build up your TOEFL speaking ability, and then move to next question, and you feel you can automatically apply your skills, so you'll be pleasantly surprised how much better you're doing compared to the previous question. Okay, so that's the idea. All right, thank you guys. I really appreciate you watching this video till the end, and I'm here to help, and I'll see you again in my next video. I'll try my best to come up with another great video that we can study together with. All right. See you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye. Hello, everyone. This is James Song here. Welcome back to my video today. As you can see on the screen, we have speaking section of the TOEFL test prepared for you. It is question type 3 of the speaking section in the TOEFL test. So let's get into it, guys. First section is reading, as you know. So just a quick reminder, within 1 minute, we need to read the reading passage in 45 seconds real time. And it's really important we write necessary notes in 45 seconds, because after 45 seconds, we won't be able to see it again because reading passage will disappear after 45 seconds. And then we will listen to the listening passage. And then we have 30 seconds to prepare, and then we need to speak 60 seconds to answer this question, okay? In speaking format, it's a speaking section. So first part is the reading passage for within 45 seconds. Sometimes I do it real time. I show you a demonstration how it should be read and what kind of notes should be made within 45 seconds to obviously make it a little bit more realistic. But today content is a little hard. It's not like impossible hard. If I have to grade the level of difficulties to like easy, medium, hard, maybe it's in the medium or medium to hard, or maybe on the hard category, but it's not impossible hard. So I would like to be friendly and thorough. So I won't demonstrate the reading passage within 45 seconds, but rather I'll read sentence by sentence with you and do that kind of a little bit more thorough teaching today to cover the reading passage. To start off with, okay, so let's go. So method of loci, okay, so whatever this means, looks like Latin or whatever, okay, so loci method. So we need to find the definition of what method of loci is as an academic concept. Spatial technique or memory devices are often used to help us recall information. Okay, so maybe method of loci is one of the technique, right? One technique, here we go. So one special technique people can use to recall information. So the technique to recall information is the method of loci. Okay, all right, so one special technique to recall info is method of loci, okay? And which is particularly helpful for remembering several pieces of information in a particular order or specific order, okay? So obviously, I may be writing a little bit more than, if I had to do this in 45 seconds. So this may be a little bit more idealistic and longer than what it should be. If you watch my other videos when I do it really within 45 seconds, but, I'm just mix it up. I'm trying to mix it up. Some lessons, I do it a little faster and quicker and a bit more swiftly if the level of difficulty is a little bit on the easy side. And, I want to be a little bit more detailed and intentionally slow down and be thorough if I feel the question is a little harder, okay? So bear with me, right? Don't lose that concentration. Okay, so that's the definition, right? So probably second sentence, really. That's what we need for our reading summary, what we need to say in our speaking answer to get the full mark. So if you get this down in 45 seconds, you've done what is required to get a full mark when you're giving your answer. But let's read a little bit more for two reasons, as I always say. First, you improve so much and kind of summarize the reading perfectly. They'll help you. And second, it will specifically help you when you listen to the listening passage, because this part is pretty much preview of the listening passage, okay? So step 2, to use this technique, okay, so how do we use this technique? First, we imagine a familiar place, such as a building or outdoor area. This familiar place should have a series of landmarks. So within a building, it should have several landmarks or several locations in the building, okay, in logical order. So for example, let's think of a palace I visited, right? I just want to think of that place as my familiar place. And inside it, there should be locations or landmark within the building. So, like first floor, second floor, third floor, fourth floor, or in the corridor, there is a table. And if I walk a little longer, there is a specific painting. If I walk a little bit longer, there is an entrance to gymnasium. If I walk a little bit longer, towards at the end of the corridor, I see a TV. So that's what it means, okay? So to use this technique, we first imagine a familiar place such as building. So let's say a building. And this building should have a series of landmarks in the building in logical order. So in the building, I have, first floor, second floor, third floor, fourth floor. Or I have, what was it? Painting, table, TV, window, okay, in particular order, okay, one by one. Okay, so once the landmarks, so imagine a place and series of landmark in the place in logical order, right? So series of landmark in the place in logical order, okay? All right, next, once the landmarks have been identified in given order, yeah, we've done that. We assign one piece of information, wow, I get it now, that we want to later recall to each location, each landmark, okay, landmark or location. So we assign information to each landmark. Okay, so we give certain information towards one landmark each. I mean, I understood what it means. Like I can see how it ends, but I'll just do step by step. Okay, so I'll kind of act dumb and wait for the next sentence to reveal to us what this means. Okay, so let's say we have first floor, second floor, third floor, fourth floor in my mind in logical order in the building. We assign one piece of information to level 1, another piece of information level 2, another piece of information level 3, another piece of information level 4. That's what it means. Okay, understood? To recall the information in order, in sequence, we imagine walking through the familiar place. So we imagine walking through the building. So in my case, I climbed the stairs from level 1 to level 4, right? So that was the sequential walk I've done once I enter the building, right? So to later recall the new information in order, we imagine walking through the familiar place, building, recalling what is stored. So what information I stored in each location or each landmark along the way. So let's say I am studying for a history exam. I need to remember ancient Greece, Roman Empire, Middle Ages, and Renaissance. 4 pieces of information, for example. Then I try to match it with the landmark. Okay, so first floor, ancient Greece, second floor, Roman Empire, third floor, Middle Ages, fourth floor, Renaissance. And try to remember first floor, Greece, second floor, Roman, third floor, Middle Ages, fourth floor, Renaissance, fourth floor, Renaissance, second floor, Roman Empire, third floor, Middle Ages. Okay, try to match them up. Method of loci, method of location. Okay, cool. So that's a full note. And it may not be perfectly realistic, I may have written a little bit longer than I should if I were to do it in 45 seconds, but today I wanted to show you a little bit differently, just to understand the contents in 100% perfect detail. Okay, all right. So maybe next video I'll go back to doing it in real time, or I may do this a couple more times, depends on what would help you the most. Okay, yeah. All right, so reading done, and let's move to the listening part by listening to the listening passage and writing necessary notes. This time, obviously, real time. Okay, let's go, guys. Here we go.
Now listen to part of a lecture on this topic.
So how would this work? Well, let's say you need to learn the names of the planets, in order by distance from the sun. So first, think about the landmarks you pass as you walk from, say, your dormitory to the student center. The first one might be the front door of your dormitory, then the big tree in front of the dorm. The next landmark you pass might be the statue in front of the library. Next, the steps to the science building. You get the idea. You memorize the major points along the walk, imagining yourself going from the first landmark to the second, the third, and so on. Now, the next thing you do is assign one planet to each of your landmarks, in sequence. Since Mercury is the closest planet to the Sun, you assign it to the first landmark, the front door of your dorm. The next planet, Venus, to the tree in front of the dorm. The third planet, Earth, you assign to the third landmark, the statue in front of the library, and so on and so on. And each time you picture the association in your mind as vividly as possible. Then, later, say you're sitting in the classroom taking a test, and you have to write the order of the planets from the sun. What do? You imagine yourself on that familiar walk to the student center, passing each landmark as usual. When you think about walking out the door of your dorm, you're reminded of Mercury. When you see the beautiful tree in front of the dorm, you think of Venus. At each landmark along the way, you recall the next planet and write it down.
Yeah, sorry, my notes a little messy, but did a perfect job. I think very legible if I explain it. Very clear in terms of contents, I think. So if you really force yourself to think that this is two main paragraphs passage, you could consider until here from the beginning as the first paragraph, and no, or even here. No, it's like this. Sorry, I'm confusing myself because my notes are a bit messy. Apologies. No, it's here, isn't it? Each time you see, try to match on the test. Okay, so I saw this as 3 paragraphs, which is more accurate, which is fine. But usually the usual format of the TOEFL test in speaking or writing, they give you 2 main paragraphs. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's a very tedious, it's something minor, but people get confused easily, some students. So I'm trying to be consistent. So if you see this as like a 2 paragraphs thing, you could start here until here as a first paragraph, and the last section as a second paragraph. Or like me, I consider this as a first paragraph, this is a second paragraph, and this as a third paragraph. Okay, so what was the listening all about? Let's cover them up. So how this work? For example, lecture says the method of loci shown in the reading. It works by, for example, let's say you had to learn the planet in order from the sun in distance, right? Then to use the method of loci, you think of a walk, familiar place, walk from dormitory to student center, okay? So that was equivalent to when I was explaining reading passage. Do you remember how I enter the building and I walk from the ground floor to fourth floor? That's the same thing, okay? So this is the familiar place that you can have the locations or landmarks, okay? So in this case, it's walk from the dormitory to student center, okay? So what are the landmarks? Like in my case, I said first floor, second floor, third floor, fourth floor, okay? So you pick a landmark, like a front door, big tree, statue in front of library, statue in front of science building. So you pick the locations, pick the landmarks, okay? Yeah, same thing, right? So along the walk, yeah, same thing, okay? So you pick in your mind, you have the 4 landmarks in a logical order, okay? And then what you do, second body from the reading passage, okay? You assign one planet, which is a piece of information. You need to learn planets, all the planets in solar system from the sun in distance. So you assign one planet per landmark, right? So you know, closest from the sun, you know, you put Mercury and put Mercury as information into front door, which is a first landmark. And the second piece of information, Venus, into a second landmark, big tree. Third planet from the sun, Earth into third landmark, and so on, okay? And each time you match them up, right? First location equals first piece of information I have put in. Okay, so stating the obvious, right? And then conclusion. When you go to the test, finally, to show your skills, to write down the correct answers, you can think of a walk. So you can think of a familiar place and then try to match each landmark to particular piece of information in order. And it's a repetition, okay? So you will think of front door, and you should think of Mercury, write it down. You should, what was the second landmark? Big tree. So when you think of big tree, what can you remember? Venus, and so forth. And you can get 100% in your test. Okay, so that's the idea. All right, cool. So we've done it all, and let me just go through it with you. So reading passage, I'll say method of loci. Of course, you cannot read this. You have to make sentence from here. Method of loci is one special technique to recall information, especially in particular order, okay? Or if you want to put several pieces of information, you know, kind of important here because it's multiple information, not just one. So you could say method of loci is one special technique to recall information, and it's particularly helpful to remember several pieces of information in particular order. Perfect, okay? And then we need a what I call bridge sentence or introduction of listening part. We covered reading part already. So this will be up on the screen while you are answering your question, or at least beginning of answering your question for sure. So you can memorize some template that I'm giving you through model answer, or you could use this prompt and make a full sentence out of it. So second sentence should be in the lecture, professors gives an example to explain how method of loci work. Okay, that's all you have to say, all right? Or in the lecture, professor explain how the method of loci works by giving an example. Okay, so that's the second sentence. That's a bridge sentence. And then we rip this information to get the perfect answer, perfect score. Okay. Professor gives an example of when students need to learn planets from the sun in order by distance from the sun. Let's say student think of familiar place. His walk from the dormitory to student center. You could see front door, big tree, statues in front of library, and so on. And try to remember these three landmarks in order. And then student can assign one piece of information, so one planet per landmark in order. So Mercury, the closest one, can be put in to a front door. Venus, second, can be put into a big tree. Third, Earth can be put into a statue in front of library and so on. So when you sitting the test, when you have to give the right answer, you can think of the first landmark, which was front door, and trying to remember assigned information, which was a Mercury, and second one, Venus, third one, Earth, so forth, to write the correct answer for your test. Something like this, okay? Yeah. So we have last section left. Okay, guys, model answer up. Perfect answer, perfect score within 60 seconds. Here we go. Start speaking. Now, beep. Method of loci is one special technique to recall information, and this helps us to remember several pieces of information in a particular order. The professor in the lecture explains how the method of loci work by giving an example. Let's say you need to learn the names of the planets in order by distance from the sun. First, set some landmarks in sequence when you walk from the dorm to the student center. First landmark, maybe the front door, second, maybe the big tree, and third, maybe the statue, and so on. Next thing you do is assign one planet to each of your landmarks in sequence. Assign Mercury to the first landmark, Venus to the second, Earth to the third, and so on. When you take the test, you can think of each landmark in order and match the assigned planets in sequence to write the correct answers down. There you have it. Okay, perfect answer, perfect score, 30 out of 30. Got it done. I hope you found it helpful and you liked the class I provided for you. And thank you very much for watching my video. I truly appreciate it. I really do. And thank you for watching till the end. And no doubt I'll come back with another great video that we can study together with. Okay? Thank you guys. Have a great day. See you in my next video. Bye. Hello, everyone. This is James Song here. Welcome back to my video. Today we are covering speaking section. We are covering question 4. So the last question of the speaking section to finish this set with in the TOEFL test. So as you know, there's no reading passage for question 4. Just straight out listening lecture, write down the notes at the same time, and try to give summarized answer. All right, let's look at this question briefly. Using the examples of electric eel, very specific question, a type of fish, and the knife fish, the second type of fish. So using examples of 2 fishes, we can say fishes because there are different types of fishes. Explain how producing electricity, subject, benefits, verb, certain fish. object here. Okay, so very straightforward. The listening lecture will be about electric eel and knifefish and how these two fishes produce electricity to benefit themselves. All right, so listening, note-taking, everything here, very important. So let's get right into it. Here comes the listening passage, guys. Let's do this.
Listen to part of a lecture in a marine biology class.
So we've talked a little about how fish use senses like vision, touch, and so forth. But what I want to talk about now is a special ability some fish have, the ability to produce electricity in their bodies. You're probably familiar with these fish that send out electric currents from their bodies naturally. So what's the purpose of this? Well, as you might expect, it can serve some important roles in helping fish survive. First, fish, like all animals, need food to survive. Well, the ability to produce electricity helps some fish to capture prey. You know, other organisms in the water that they eat. Take the electric eel, for example. The eel produces a strong electric current in its body. When the eel comes into contact with one of the smaller fish it depends on for food, the electric current that it sends out shocks the smaller fish and paralyzes it. It's not able to get away from the eel. The eel captures the fish easily and can eat it at its leisure. So this ability to use electricity to capture prey ensures that the eel gets the food it needs to survive. The ability to produce electricity also helps fish to successfully navigate their environment by detecting nearby objects. Some fish have poorly developed eyes, and the water they live in can be muddy and dark. Now, there's a fish called the knife fish that produces electricity. This creates an electric field around the knifefish's body. When the knifefish swims close to, say, a rock, it senses a disturbance, an interference in its electric field. The fish then realizes that there is a rock nearby and that it has to avoid crashing into it. Once this happens, the knifefish swims away from the rock and thus avoids harming itself.
All right, so I feel that I wrote pretty good notes this time around, as usual. So let's put it into words, right? Yeah, let's do that. So first thing first, first sentence for the answer would be, in the lecture, professor explains how producing electricity benefits certain fish. That's fine. Or in the lecture, professor explains how producing electricity benefits certain fish, like such as electric eel, knifefish. Okay. Third version, in the lecture, professor explains how producing electricity benefit certain fish by giving examples. Okay, three versions. And I wrote it down for some people, right? But as you can see, we don't need this part. It's a introduction for the introduction. It says, some fish have ability to produce electricity naturally. So what's the purpose? So, we can hit it right here, right? So how producing electricity benefits certain fish. So this again is kind of introduction, fish needs food to survive. Of course, they need food to survive. So what is the first benefit the fish gets? So I'll jump right here as a topic sentence, right? Producing electricity. A fish produce electricity to capture their prey, right? Capture their prey for food. So there's a topic sentence, no more explanation. Probably short answer because it jumps into example right away. Okay. For example, eels produce strong electric current. So when they send out the electricity, it shocks the prey, and prey cannot get away from the eel. So eels can capture the prey easily and eat them, consume them. Okay. Second benefit is that, or second, electricity help fish to successfully navigate nearby object or navigate, okay, avoiding the obstacles nearby, whatever, okay, successfully navigate. Because we have this part in the explanation, okay? Some fish have poor vision, right? So we can include this in here or take it out, or mentions with the topic sentence. Not very important. We can jump right into here to give an example. For example, knife fish send out electricity to create electric field around them. So when they approach the rock nearby, it sends the disturbance to help knife fish realize there is a rock nearby to be able to avoid the rock from harming themselves. Okay, so this is all done by sending out the electricity around them and forming electricity field so that they can feel what objects are near them to go around or avoid altogether. So that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, go. That's done, isn't it? So before I do 30 seconds preparation, just real quick, one more time for you guys. In the lecture, professor explains how producing electricity benefits certain fish. First benefit is sending out electricity help fish to capture prey. For example, eel send out strong electric current. When they send it out to the prey fish, it shocks them so that prey cannot get away, for eels to capture their prey and eat it successfully. Second benefit is fish can successfully navigate around or avoid nearby object. For example, knife fish send out electricity to create electricity field around them. So if there is a rock nearby, then the fish feel the disturbance to avoid the rock and navigate. Something like this, okay? So 20 seconds demo, this is the hard part. It's always hard to do this in 20 seconds. It's just such a short period of time, no matter how you look at it. So let's go. Two benefits. First, to capture prey. Example, eel, send out electricity, shocks the prey, paralyzed, can't get away. Second, successful navigation, nearby object, create electricity field around them, rock there, able to avoid. Yeah, it's really tight. But don't worry, you can see these notes while you're speaking. So, you know, it's like a rehearsal to your answer. You kind of answering twice. You are practicing your perfect answer one time. And then still, you can look at the notes and calm yourself down and making the full sentence one after the other, right? So it's not like you have to memorize this and you cannot see the notes anymore when you give the full answer, okay? So it's just a prep, the most effective prep within 20 seconds, right? So we have just the last part left, as you know. Let's do this. So full answer in 60 seconds and the script on the screen. Let's go, guys. Okay, guys, 60 seconds to speak the perfect answer. Let's do this. Start speaking. Now, beep. The professor explains how producing electricity benefits certain fish by using examples of two types of fish. First, the ability to produce electricity helps some fish to capture prey. For example, the electric eel produces a strong electric current. So when the eel sends out the electricity to their smaller prey fish, it paralyzes the prey and the prey fish cannot get away. The eel captures the fish easily and eats it. Second, producing electricity helps fish to successfully navigate the environment by detecting objects nearby. For example, a knife fish can produce electricity, so it creates an electric field around its body. When the knife fish swims close to a rock, it senses a disturbance in its electric field, so the fish swims away from the rock to avoid it. Yeah, so pretty full. I was, speaking pretty, not a lot, but, nice and slow, not overly slow, but, I wasn't trying to speak fast. I spent full 60 seconds. So, you can practice multiple times to get there, just like how I have done it. But, I wasn't like intentionally speaking really fast. So I hope you can get this answer and put it into, 60 seconds without too much problem. All right. So another question, done and dusted. Yeah, that's it. That's how you get the perfect score for this question. And thank you very much once again for watching this video to learn. I really appreciate you guys, watching this video till the end and, trying to improve your TOEFL score with me. I thank you and I appreciate you guys. So I'll see you in my next video and let's go at it. Let's do this all over again in our next video. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Goodbye.